Today I want to share with you how to create a unique hand tied using carnations. And it really becomes fun because this is something that they do throughout Europe. It was shown, I've seen it done many times, many years ago, but I've always felt that it was really a fun technique to do, especially if you want to add to this, and I'll show you what to do with that in a minute. But I want to start first of all with just a piece of 12 gauge wire. This is aluminum wire, Smith's Oasis wire, which works great. And I'm going to just make a little spiral on the end of this to keep my carnations on. So we're just going to kind of bind this just a little bit. Your wire needs to be the circumference of the design that you're going to create. So you'll have to figure out the calculations on that. Then you need about 15 carnations. You want to make sure that you go through and pull off all the excess foliage that you don't want. And I want to lay them out here all in a line so that they're easier for me to manipulate. And 15 works really well for a design that's about 8 inches across. So you can figure out if you want to make it smaller, you could do that. Also, you want to make sure that you've got some extra carnations just in case you have any breakage, because that's kind of the tendency of what a carnation does. But one of the things about it is that carnations are resilient, and you can do just about anything you want to them. So it's not going to damage them whatsoever. You know, we make Hawaiian lays out of them, do all kinds of things. So you can do whatever you want to them. So now I've got 15 of them laid out, and I'm just going to take my 12 gauge wire, and I want to make sure that I have a nice sharp point to that, and I'm just going to start feeding it through each carnation. And you just want to poke it through the calyx of the carnation, slide it down, just keep going all the way through till you have your 15. And this is just a hand tied. Hand tied is a technique. That's all it is. You can do any design style as a hand tied, but this particular hand tied is a spiral, and that's typically what we see when we look at hand tied designs. But there are 3 other types of hand tied design techniques. One is a parallel, and you can imagine what that is. So the stems go straight up and down instead of going around in a spiral. There's also integrated, where you start with a parallel, or you start with like an armature handle, and then you add a radial around that, or that spiral all the way around. The last one is lacing. And lacing is basically what we do to a vase. If you're adding foliage first for flower support, you put that in all the way around, and it creates that lacing technique. So what we're doing here is I'm just going to work them all the way down. We'll separate them here in just a second. Poke my last few in. And I'm going to see exactly where they'll be. So now they're in control. But I want to space them out so I have some nice room for each carnation to show its beautiful little head. And then I'm going to take my wire and shorten that down just a bit, and then create a spiral on this end. And we're going to use these spirals to attach them. But the first thing we have to do is we need to pick them up and create that spiral. So once all the stems are laid out nice and straight, then you have to pick them all up in the same way. So I've got one in my hand, the very last one. I'm going to take the next one and lay it over top. The next one, lay it over top, and continue all the way through. So I'm laying it the same way each and every time, gives me that radial spiral. So you can see I've got them all collected here into that radial spiral. So then I'm just going to kind of start bending them so that they come together, and I'm going to grab these 2 wires that we created that spiral on the end and connect them so that they're not going to go anywhere. So now I've got my beautiful little spiral. The next thing that I want to do is I just want to sustain these, just keep them stable. So I've got a little bit of bind it tape, and get all the heads at the same height, because we're going to come back and we're going to adjust them a little bit. But I use a little bit of bind it tape just to hold them all together. I love bind it tape. This is a Smith's Oasis product. Fabulous stuff. It sticks to itself, so you don't have to worry about it doing anything, sticking to anything else but itself. But you can see now that I'm able to manipulate this and create a complete circle with this. So then that gives me just this beautiful little nesting quality that I love here. Now I've completed one where I added a little bit of foliage to it, You can see I've got some fancy and some vines and some lily grass all the way around. And this becomes then a beautiful design that you can set your beautiful arrangement in and sell it this way. Or if you've got a little gift, this is what I love about this design, is being able to add, I've got a little gift that we put inside. It could be jewelry that you want to add. It even could be chocolates of any type that you want to put a little bow on and stick it down inside. It could be an engagement ring. But it's really fun just to be able to have just this little nesting area to create this beautiful thing. You could put like just a bird's nest to continue that just without any type of a gift item. But what I love having that convenience of being able to do that. It also has great add-on sales. You could put a candle, you could put potpourri, and put this in your cooler and sell it just that way. Oh my gosh, how fun is that? So think about the next time that you're creating a hand-tied design and how you can use carnations, beautiful fragrant carnations, as your spiral hand-tied.